بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So we're studying another topic in our advanced structures. So this topic is called النعت السببي. Okay, النعت السببي. That's what we're going to cover today. It's another short topic, not a lot, a slightly different concept than what we've learned before, but we'll see how. So before we even discuss النعت السببي, there's one thing you need to understand. نعت basically means صفة. صفة equals نعت, نعت equals صفة. They're interchangeable. They both mean descriptions, okay, or descriptors. Yeah. So that's what you need to understand. So before we talk about النعت السببي, let's do some recap. Okay, let's do some revision. Now, there are two kinds of sifas. Essentially, there are two kinds of sifas, the main kinds. There's one called النعت الحقيقي, the true sifa, if you will, or the true na'at. And then you have النعت السببي. So today we'll cover النعت السببي. But before we cover النعت السببي, let's just go through النعت الحقيقي, the true sifa, what we call موصوف sifa, what we've learned before, or any other kinds of sifas that we've learned before. Let's just do some recap on that so that we can understand the difference between the true sifa and the sababi sifa. نعت الحقيقي and نعت السببي. So what are descriptors? What kind of sigas, what kind of words do we use for describing? We use the isim fa'il. For example, we say الرجل القائم. الرجل القائم, the man who is standing, or the standing man. الرجل القائم. So that's an isim fa'il. قائم is an isim fa'il. Or you can use an isim maf'ul. You can say الباب المفتوح. الباب المفتوح. فتح يفتح فتحا فهو فاتح. That's the isim fa'il. فتح يفتح فتحا فهو مفتوح. So the opened door, or the open door, the door that is open. الباب المفتوح, the door that is open. So you can use an isim maf'ul. The other one you can use an isim sifa. We know sifa mushabbaha, it's also called. So for example, يوم جميل, a beautiful day. يوم جميل. Jamil will be the isim sifa. So these are words that we use to describe. Okay, so isim fa'il, isim maf'ul, isim sifa, to give a description, a sifa, an attribute to something. Now, the other thing you need to remember about these words, especially isim maf'ul and isim fa'il, is that they tend to act like fi'ls. We talked about this a while back. We said these words, yeah, they can take a fa'il, they can take a maf'ul bihi. Isim fa'il can have its fa'il, it can have a maf'ul bihi. So they, in a sense, they kind of act like a fi'il. We know a fi'il has a fa'il and a maf'ul bihi. So these words also sometimes they tend to do this. They tend to take a fa'il and a maf'ul bihi, right? Now it only has two parts. You have the mawsuf and the sifa. For example, يوم جميل. يوم is the mawsuf, جميل is the sifa. رجل قائم. رجل is the mawsuf, قائم is the sifa. Or باب مفتوح, باب is the mawsuf, مفتوح is the sifa. Two parts to it. Even if you're talking about, so for example, الأمهات العاقلات, موصوف صفة. So you have two parts, intelligent mothers, or mothers who are intelligent mothers. Now we also discussed complex sifa. We also did a bit of complex sifa where it comes as a jumla ismiya or a jumla fi'liya. For example, if we say بنات أمهاتهن عاقلات. So this will be jumla ismiya. أمهاتهن. So بنات is nakira. بعدها الجملة followed by a sentence. So it is a word that doesn't have al. It's an indefinite word after which a sentence comes. So you have mawsuf in the beginning, the blue, and then the green part is the sifa. Okay, and of course there has to be a pronoun that goes back to the sifa. Sorry, the mawsuf. Same thing. If it's a jumla fi'liya as a sifa, you have بنات عقلت أمهاتهن. Girls whose mothers are intelligent, something along those lines. So this is something we did, okay? This is النعت الحقيقي. النعت الحقيقي where you have موصوف صفة. بس خلاص. For matching four properties. That's موصوف صفة. That is النعت الحقيقي. True attribution or true description. Okay. Now we come to النعت الحقيقي. What is, I'm sorry, this is just a breakdown here of how النعت الحقيقي is. So let's look at the table before we go to النعت السببي. So you have the sentence, for example, this last sentence, بنات عقلت أمهاتهن. Okay, so you have بنات is the موصوف, the thing being described, and it's being described by an entire sentence, which is a جملة فعلية, and you have the فعل and the فاعل, basically. So, and the فعل and the جملة فعلية, which combines of the فعل and the فاعل, forms the صفة. So that's the structure, basically what we have just done. But in other words, it has two parts, موصوف and صفة, 2 parts only. Okay, whether it's a sentence or not a sentence, it has only 2 parts. So that's نعت الحقيقي. Okay, so you have فعل and the فاعل. You come to النعت السببي now. When it comes to النعت السببي, it's not just 2 parts. It's actually 3 parts. And that's where it makes a difference. And this is where you have an اسم فاعل or an اسم مفعول acting like a verb. Okay? And it has 3 parts to it. Let's take an example. بنات, instead of عقلت, which was the فعل ماضي, now we are using اسم فاعل, عاقل. Now because we're talking about بنات, so it's going to be عاقلة. Okay? Feminine, it's going to match. And we'll see how. So you have, sorry, we're talking about أمهات. That's why it's matching. So you have بنات, girls, عاقلة, you can't really put an ER to this, it won't make sense. Intelligenta, it doesn't make sense. So girls who their mothers are intelligent. Okay, so this kind of like the structure that we're talking about. بنات عاقلة أمهاتهن. So you can see there are 3 parts to it. There's the first part, there's the middle part, and then there's the last part. So how do we understand this structure? Now let's break it down. Now, you have the first part, which is the banat part, and I'm calling it, it's connected to موصوف. It's not really the موصوف, it's not what we are describing, it's just connected to what we are describing. In one way or another, it's connected by an aid. There's a pronoun that connects it, but it's not the موصوف, okay? And then you have عاقلة, which is the description, which is the اسم فاعل, and this actually here is the نعت السببي, which the صفة is actually the النعت السببي, okay? And then of course, the ones we are describing with this صفة is the موصوف, and it's أمهاتهن. Now you see, automatically you see this is different. With النعت الحقيقي, the true موصوف صفة situation, موصوف comes first, right? In any Arabic موصوف صفة situation, you have the موصوف, then the صفة. You have what is being described, then the description comes after it. رجل قائم, موصوف صفة. But with النعت السببي, the نعت, the صفة, comes first. Then the موصوف comes after it. So it's a flip. Okay? It's a flip. And what happens is that you have an اسم فاعل or an اسم مفعول or a صفة مشبهة, and this اسم takes on a مفعول, a فاعل, an outside فاعل. So you can see أمهات is the outside فاعل of عاقلة. So it's acting like a فعل. It's acting like the way this one was doing. So this one, عقلت, was a فعل, and this was the outside doer of this فعل, and together they form the صفة. But here we now have an اسم فاعل, or an اسم مفعول, or an اسم صفة, and it's taking an outside مفعول. So together, you would assume that this would be the صفة, except this part here, أمهات, is the ones we are describing. And how are we describing them? With this attribute of عاقل, intelligence. So we are attributing intelligence to these women. Okay, so this is the na'at, this is the mawsuf, and this hunna goes back to banat. I know it's a bit much, isn't it? Should I repeat that one more time? I know it makes your head spin.
Please.
Yeah, this part makes your head spin a bit, but let's do it again and see if we can be able to get it. Okay. So like I said, there are 3 parts. Forget about this part first. Whatever is connected to the mawsuf. So let's just look at this part first. So we have aqila is an ism fa'il. And this ism fa'il is acting like a fi'l. So it's taking an outside fa'il. Now this outside fa'il is the thing being described. You know, like how you come, masdar comes when it's acting like a fi'l, when the masdar is acting like a fi'l, it becomes a mudaf ilayh situation. In this case, a mawsuf sifa, you have isim fa'il and it's outside dua. That's the relationship they have. Even though it's mawsuf sifa, but the relationship they have, it's fi'l and fa'il. Even though it's mawsuf sifa. Just like when a masdar comes as a fi'l, it takes mudaf ilayh form. Even though it's like it's acting like a fi'l, right? So this is kind of a similar situation. You have an isim fa'il behaving like a fi'l, and it takes on the outside dua, and that outside dua is actually the mawsuf, is the thing it is describing. So the sifa comes first, the mawsuf comes after. And this mawsuf is always going to come with a pronoun. It's always going to come with a pronoun. And this pronoun is going to go back to something that came before. Okay? Something that came before, and that is what I'm calling connected to the mawsuf. So how do we translate this? Banat, girls. So I'm talking about girls, but I want to give you some information about these girls in a way that I'm talking about their mother. So I want to describe their mother, the girls' mothers, not the girls themselves. So that you see, the girls are not the ones being described. It's their mothers who are being described. So girls who their mothers are intelligent. So it's the mothers who are intelligent. It's the mothers who are being described. But I'm saying, so the way you look at it, or the way I understand it, is you can imagine there's a semicolon between what is being described, between the first part and the second part. So take an example, this one. These girls, their mothers are intelligent. So semicolon, their mothers are intelligent, I'm describing the mothers. So it's kind of like that. You put a semicolon and then it kind of like sort of makes sense. The mothers are intelligent, except with this kind of sifa, mawsuf, this النعت السببي, the sifa comes first, not the mawsuf. Okay. I don't know if that part is a bit clearer.
A question here.
Yes.
If ummahatuhunna was the mubtada and aqilatun was the khabar, this would also translate as their mothers are intelligent.
Yes. Basically, yeah. If there was no something before it that connect, and the idea is you just have, yeah, you basically, that's the thing. But here you have a structure that came before. You have something that was referred to before. So in other words, this would have been our mubtada. Because this is the first rafa, so this is our mubtada, which means whatever comes after it is our khabar fi mahalli rafa. But when you look at what comes after it, it's a sifa structure. And this sifa is not your normal sifa structure, because the sifa came first and then the mawsuf came later. But if I just said ummahatuhunna aqil, and another thing, here's another thing. If this was a mubtada, the khabar will have to match it, right? I would say ummahatuhunna aqilatun, right? I wouldn't say aqilatun. It won't be singular. It will be plural, feminine plural. So we're going to discuss all these things that make, you know, النعت السببي. So you will always see that it's going to be singular. The sifa or the نعت السببي is always going to be singular. You'll never have dual, you never have plural. It's always going to be singular. So that's what makes it different from like a mubtada khabar or any other structure. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Any other
Sister?
question?
So for the aqilatun can also be considered as a sifa of banatun, like banatun, aqilatun, like normal mawsuf sifa, because it's a.
If this part was not there.
Okay.
But also, I mean, yeah, you can do it, but remember this is human, it's sound plural, so it will still be aqilatun, not aqilatun. You still can have, sometimes it's used one she, but this like for balagha reasons and stuff, but normally you just have aqilatun. Again, it will be 3F, not 1F. So immediately you see 1F, you know something is happening here, is different. It's not your normal match for properties, which is the true mawsuf sifa. Yeah.
And then the question is, there's aqilat. So this is nakira. And ummahatuhunna, it's so
Yes.
like we won't put that way. Nakira ba'd al-jumla.
Yes, so we can't even say, yeah, you want to put the nakira بعدها الجملة, except عاقلات أمهاتهن is a mawsuf sifa. It's not really a sentence, so that's why that might not work.
The aqilatun. I'm saying not binatun. Like if I'll see aqilatun, so this is a nakira, and then ummahatuhunna. But it's not like ummahatuna. It's not a complete sentence. There is no.
Yeah. So you see that one also doesn't apply. Yeah. So this is a very unique structure on its own, because when you try to apply the different structures of sifa, the ones we learned, the true sifa, you see it doesn't apply. So it's a bit different, and we'll see how it's different. So somebody was mentioning banat. Yes. Go on.
A quick question. This banatun is a mubtada, as you said in the sentence. Banatun is mubtada, and because the sentence now this aqilatun ummahatuhunna, it's a mawsuf sifa structure, so it is a fragment and it doesn't make a complete sense. So there is no khabar in this, the sentence.
But it
is a khabar.
The khabar, yes.
Jumla failure, it becomes necessary in the pattern of jumla failure.
Yes, in the pattern of jumla fi'liya, like it's acting like a fi'l, this one. Because it's taking a fa'il. Is that clear?
Yes, sister.
Yeah. And you can have a mawsuf sifa as a khabar. Like,
yes,
it doesn't stop it from being a khabar. Yeah.
But if this was a khabar, wouldn't there be an invisible is between banatun and the khabar?
Yes.
So then it would be girls is.
Except you don't translate like that. You put a semicolon. That's how I find it easier to translate like that. So it's not really, you don't look at it, you don't translate it like a khabar the way we would, because it's a different structure, and it's acting like a jumla fi'liya. It's acting like a fa'il, because it's taking an outside doer, which is the ummahat.
Sister Ilham, what I understood is, like, let me know if I'm correct. Though there is a noun, and after that you find a ism file which is acting as a sifa for an outside doer. The outside doer is a file of that ism file, and you got a pronoun which is connected to the word which is previously mentioned.
That's النعت السببي, and we're going to see the characteristics of this word and the characteristics of this word.
And this is a pattern: ism and ism file, and there is an outside file for the ism file.
Yes.
The pronoun goes. This is a template. When you find this kind of template, is it very common in Quran, Sister Ilham?
Not so common. That's why you don't need to worry so much about it. It's not a common thing.
Okay.
And it's not just isim fa'il alone. It could be isim maf'ul. It could be isim sifa. So we'll see also in a couple of examples. So just watch out. When you have an isim, then followed by either isim fa'il, isim maf'ul, or isim sifa, and then there's a word in rafa'a status after it, which tells you that it's the outside doer of it, and there's a pronoun after that, going back, which matches with this word, with the first word, then you know this is النعت السببي. Yeah? Yes. Okay, let's go on, and hopefully we will clarify as we go on. So there are several, you can do it in different variations. Now the rule is that, let me clear this up first and then I tell you the rule. Now, because this is a sifa, some kind of sifa situation, there has to be some kind of matching, right? So we know that in true sifa, 4 properties match. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But with this one, there's a match here and there's a different kind of match in these 2 words. So the first pair, banatun aqilatun, you have 2 things that have to match. You have status that has to match and type. Okay, status and type. So if it is rafa, aqilatun has to be rafa. If it is common, it has to be common. So that's what's happening here. Status and type, ST, between these 2. Banat and the النعت السببي, you match the status, you match the type. And between aqilatun and this one, you match the gender. Forget the number, forget all this other stuff, doesn't matter. You match the gender. So if it is feminine, here you make sure that it's feminine. If it is masculine, you make sure that it is masculine. So those are the ones, the kind of connections you need to watch out for. And we said that this Na'at Assababiy is always going to be singular. Okay? It has to be singular. So you don't worry about number matching. Just worry about, in the first instance, you're worrying about status. So if it is Rafa, it has to be Rafa. If it is common, it has to be common. And then when you come to this side, if it is feminine, it has to be feminine. All right. So now let's look at different variations here. Maybe these examples will make it slightly bigger. Okay. So hopefully these variations here would make you understand the whole idea. So for example, هؤلاء, these, هؤلاء بنات. This would be our mubtada, and that's why it's rafa. هؤلاء بنات عاقلة. So you see banat doesn't have al. عاقلة doesn't have al. You see it's rafa. بنات عاقلات. عاقلة, sorry, عاقلة, because it has to be singular. بنات عاقلة. It matches in status and it matches in type. Then you have, so this would be your mubtada and then the rest would be your khabar, in a sense. But the way you would do the i'rab is that you would say this is your mubtada, basically, and then this is your na'at as-sababi, and this is your fa'il for aqila. That's how you would do the i'rab. And then you see that ummahat matches with aqila. Both are feminine in gender. And of course, hunna goes back to banat. All right. Now, what if it wasn't rafa? What if it was nasab? For example, ra'ayna, we saw. Who did we see? We saw girls. This is who we saw. And these girls, I want to tell you something about these girls, but not them, the girls themselves, about their mothers. So I want to describe the girls' mothers. So ra'ayna, we saw girls, aqilatan. So you see the status matches, aqilatan and banatin. Both are nasab. They match. They're both common. Ummahatuhunna. Again, this is the outside file, so it's always going to be rafa. So this one you don't really worry about the status much, but it's going to match in gender. Okay. So we saw girls whose mothers are intelligent. Yeah. Or if it's jar, mararna bi banatin. We met women, girls. Aqilatin. So you see it matches. So this ones you just have to matches. To match what? Status and type. And then here you match gender. So that's what you need to worry most about. Okay? Is that clear? Any questions there? Okay. Now, like I said, yes, Sultan. You want to ask a question?
Here, the Mawsuf Sifa, the whole combination will form a Sifa for the Mawsuf before?
Yes. This This is the mawsuf.
Mawsuf,
Yes, and then this is the sifa.
sifa. So this both again in the combination will form a sifa for this banatin. For
Yes.
this mawsuf.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a chain.
Chain.
Mawsuf sifa.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah. It's not khabar like I was saying. Sorry. I think it's like a long chain of sifas, one inside the other. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. So this is the sifa to this, and then inside, this is the sifa to this. Yeah.
Could you repeat it, Ilham, this one again, please?
Okay. So the idea is we met girls, and I want to give details about these girls, okay? That their mothers are intelligent. So girls, for example, marana bi banatin, this is who we met. This is the isim jar majroor. And then you have aqilatun. This part is describing something about banat. Actually, wait, let me think about this. Actually, no. No, it's not the sifa, sorry. Before I confuse you further. It's not the sifa. This is not a sifa to this. It's not. Okay, so let's not confuse that. The relationship is between, see this a'id. It's like when we had mawsuf sifa and we had a a'id that was going back to isim mawsul just to connect. This is what is happening here. We are having a mawsuf sifa. This is the mawsuf sifa, and this mawsuf sifa is connected to what came before with a a'id. That's the connection. That's how it is. But it's not the sifa. So it's connected to what came before with a a'id.
This is sifa mawsuf combination, and this is I for the banatin. That's it.
Yes,
it doesn't describe the banatin. Obviously,
no,
if we see the translation, it doesn't make any sense also, that because the girls, we met the girls, their mothers, their mother are intelligent.
Yeah. So it doesn't really work as a sifa, mawsuf sifa. Yeah.
Sister, we met girls whose mother are intelligent. Does it can we translate in that way as well?
Yeah, you can. We met girls
whose mother, if you don't want to translate the ayat, whose mother are intelligent, if you would translate in that way, then it does make a sifa for that the girls, right? Girls whose mother.
Yeah, but that's why I don't like translating it like that, because it confuses. It's like you're doing it like a jumla fi'liya. Banatin aqilatin ummahatuhunna. Aqilat ummahatuhunna. Like the one we did here. So if you translate it like that, it's like this structure. Banatun aqilat ummahatuhunna. Nakira ba'daha al-jumla, so we put a whose in here. So for this structure, I like to put a semicolon. So I said these girls, or we passed by girls, or we met girls, their mothers are intelligent. Because there's that hunna there. So their mothers are intelligent. The girls' mothers are intelligent. So that's kind of like a literal translation of what's happening there, so that it doesn't confuse you with other structures. Yeah? Is that clear?
So what will be
yes
in between these? So like mubtada, khabar, or it's not sifa. So it's neither mubtada, khabar also. What will call it then?
You just translate this part as you say this is jar majroor, and whatever role it's playing. So if it's muta'alliq, you say muta'alliq bil fi'al, and this you're going to call it na'at al-sababi. So when you're doing the i'rab, you just call this as na'at al-sababi, and this would be the outside dua of that. That's how you do the i'rab. Yeah? Yeah, so I was confusing you with the whole mubtada khabar situation. Just look at this as whatever role it's playing in the sentence, and this is going to be always your na'at al-sababi, and this is always going to be your outside dua. All right. Okay. So I summarized this table for you so that you can actually see the difference between true sifa and a na'at as-sababi. So we said with a true sifa, you have 4 properties matching, you know, all the 4 properties, easy peasy. With a na'at as-sababi, you have the first part matching in status and type, the second part matching in gender. So not all 4 properties, which means what property is missing? Number. And number, it's missing because it's always going to be singular. So it's always going to be singular. So it's matching in some properties, not all properties, and those properties are divided between the 3 different structures. So one part gets status and type, the other part gets gender, and that's how it divides that. And then you have with a true sifa, the mawsuf comes first. Mawsuf, sifa, that's how we say it. But in this one, you have a na'at as-sababi, then you have the sifa coming after, which is the maf'ul of that na'at as-sababi. Yeah, so sifa mawsuf. Instead of mawsuf sifa, you have sifa mawsuf. So we talked about this singular, how the na'at as-sababi is always going to be singular. So you say, for example, ar-rajulani, 2 men. I want to say 2 men, their fathers are kind. Their fathers are kind. I'm referring to 2 people, and I'm referring to 2 fathers here. But I will still use one description, like I won't make it dual, or I won't say ar-rajulani al-karimani. I would say ar-rajulani al-karimu abawahuma. It's like saying our abawahuma karimun. It's like making, when you say it in a mubtada khabar, it will be abawahuma. Well, actually, you would say karimani or karimun, either way. So that's basically like how it works. So it's always going to be singular. You won't say this is wrong. Ar-rajulani al-karimani. So if you see that the sifa is singular, then it's going to be a na'at as-sababi. So the other thing is that the sifa matches the mawsuf. We mentioned these 4 properties, but here the mawsuf will always be in rafa status. Why? Because it's the outside doer. It's the outside fa'il of the na'at as-sababi, because it acts as a fa'il, so it takes an outside doer, right? So, and then we said this is a 2-way relationship for the true sifa. Just have 2 parts, mawsuf and sifa. But this one is a 3-way relationship because you have 3 parts and they're each, you know, working together somehow. So you have the first part working together and you have the second part working together. And then the second part, there's something that goes back all the way to the first part. So it's kind of like, I don't know, a 3-way relationship somehow. Okay, so we mentioned that. And in mawsuf sifa, you don't have a pronoun. Okay. Yeah, in the mawsuf sifa, you don't have a pronoun. So it's just rajulun qa'imun, rajulun jalisun, a man sitting, or a sitting man. Yeah. But here you always have a pronoun that goes back to what is the thing that is connecting the 2 parts. So it goes back to the beginning. Now there's a slight variation here. There's a slight distinction here that we need to discuss. So if the pronoun is in there, all right, now if the pronoun isn't mentioned, you want to use this structure an-na'at as-sababi without the pronoun. What do? You can do that, but you'll have to make it mudaf ilayh. Again, this doesn't happen in the Quran, so don't really worry so much about it. The example I've given here is that, for example, qabaltu, I met, ar-rajulaini, I met 2 men. Now these 2 men, I want to describe something about them. Al-husnay al-khalqi. So it becomes a mudaf ilayh, and it just becomes like a normal sifa, basically. Ar-rajulaini al-husnay al-khalqi. Husnay al-khalqi, good description, like good character, good charactered men, if you will. So 2 men who are good of character. 2 men good of character. That's kind of like how you'd look at it. And of course, this mudaf ilayh would be the sifa of that. as opposed to the structure of النعت السببي, which is the one down here, which is قابلت الرجلين. And then the نعت السببي is going to be singular. We can't say الحسنين or like in this first part. We have to say الحسن. Well, in this case, it has to match with status, so it will be الحسنى. So الرجلين الحسنى خلقهما. This is the نعت السببي that you're familiar with, the one down. This is a distinction, a derivation, a differentiation where you don't get the pronoun coming back. Again, not to worry so much about it. It doesn't happen in the Quran.
Still,
Mhm.
where is mudaf ilayhi here? I'm sorry, I couldn't make it right.
Oh, you're
This
saying
is-
al and you're confused.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes mudaf can have al. I know I probably just blew your wild open. It confused you and you're like, mudaf can have al. Yes, mudaf can have al. In very special rare occasions, that can happen. And it's still a mudaf ilayh. Yeah.
So how would you recognize that it's a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi? But the translation, it's,
Yeah, because you see, it doesn't have, it's not al-husnaini. Because the dual version is al-husnaini, then we got rid of the noon. So we made it light. And that's kind of how, and you see that the word following it is majroor, al-khalqi. So that is,
well, in that case, we should check. It is light, but it's having al.
yes.
Oh,
If
okay.
this part has al, this part will also have al. Yeah. And
This
I think
is not
it
a
also,
part of. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
I think this kind of structure came in EMSA.
Hamza?
Yeah.
That one is
Yeah.
that is the only one? Okay.
Yeah. Dirty clothed man.
Yeah,
No
the ugly
idea.
man, ugly faced man,
Ugly
faced man.
faced man. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is, yeah.
Mama,
This is,
Okay.
Mama,
One second.
Mama, listen.
yeah. So you see,
Sister
it doesn't
Ilham,
come with the pronoun.
Sister Ilham, does this the Rajulain? It's a is it this is a mawsuf and al husnain al khalqi is a mudaf ilahi as a sifa of Rajulain?
Yes.
This idafa structure is a sifa of Rajulain, the mawsuf one. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
In this,
Okay.
when it comes like this, that's how you look at it.
Okay.
Mama,
Yeah.
Mama.
So the good charactered, the two men who are good. It's kind of hard to translate this in English. But I think you get the idea. So just remember the ugly faced man.
Yes, yes,
Ugly
yes.
faced man. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the structure here. So you see, it doesn't come with a pronoun. But if it comes with a pronoun, this is the structure it will take. And this part will be singular, regardless whether you're talking about 2 men, 5 men, 10 men, it doesn't matter. And it's going to match in type and status in the first part here. And the second part here is going to match with gender. So you see, it's al-husnu khalqu. It's not khalqatu. It's not feminine, because both these are masculine in that sense. Right. Any other questions? I know it's a difficult topic to understand, even though it's short and simple, but it's short but not simple. It's a bit, because it challenges what we already know. We know mudaf doesn't have al, it's bringing al. We know mawsuf sifa is mawsuf first and then sifa, it's changing that. So it's changing a lot of what we know of our foundations, and that can be, we don't like change. So when change is happening too much, and in this structure, there's a lot of change. So it can be a bit, I don't want to accept it. But yeah, you just have to accept it. Yeah.
Do they all come together? Is there any distance?
No, they come together.
So 3 isms coming together following those rules is not the Assababiy.
So this first part you can have like a break. The first part can come and then maybe another sifa in between or something in between, and then so most likely it's going to be a sifa, like a normal mawsuf sifa, this part and then another mawsuf sifa here, so sifa 1, and then this part sifa 2, something like that. You can have that.
Mind
I
blowing.
know. I know. It challenges everything that we know. Like every single thing that we learned as a rule, it just takes that rule and throws it in the bin and says that I'm a new, unique type of thing, and I don't care about your rules that you learned. So, but I think let's do some examples. Hopefully that would help. Okay.
It's little about that adjective idafa thing.
Uh-huh.
In this one, we have to match the number also. Arajulaini,
Yeah,
like the
so this
normal,
is Mawsuf
all
sifa.
four properties should match.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and that's why we are saying that this whole thing is a sifa for this first part, because it has to match 4 properties. It's just adjective idafa, it's a little bit different.
And it is one of the rarest conditions where mudaf will have al.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not even a common thing either. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first example. By the way, I think these are the only 2 examples that happen in the Quran. So again, a very rare occurrence type of thing. So I'm going to do the first one, and we're going to figure out the second one. The second one is a bit tough to figure out. Or should I do the second one, and what do you guys suggest? Now let's try and figure out the second one together. I'll do the first one, and then the second one we can try and figure out together. So you have ربنا أخرجنا, our master, remove us or get us out من هذه القرية, from this village, So you see قرية, this is basically the thing that is going to be connected. Okay, so من هذه, and it is مجرور because of min. And then you have the word that comes after it is الظالم, like اسم فاعل, it's singular. It has al on it because al-qarya has al on it. It is majroor because al-qaryati is majroor. So it is matching in type and in status. Okay, that part. And then you have ahlu. Ahlu. So ahlu is the outside doer of al-zalim, which is the isim fa'il. So my master or our master, get us out of this village, semicolon. Its people are evildoers. Its people are evildoers. Something like that. Or you can even say whose people are wrongdoers. But I kind of like to distinguish between that and the other structure so that it doesn't confuse. So its people are wrongdoers or are oppressors, valid oppressors. Okay, and of course, ha, what is ha going to? So you see this pronoun goes to al-qariya, which is feminine, and they match in gender. Right? Is that clear? How we
Sister,
go about
this
that?
thing will always be feminine, no, or singular.
Here, yeah, the na'at Assababiy, the sifa itself is always going to be singular, always. Yeah, so you not see any, if you see something that is plural, then you're looking at something else. Yeah.
And the Na'at Assababiy is ism fa'il, ism maf'ul, or ism mushabba.
Yes, just those 3.
Okay.
So at least that narrows it down a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see so we have Sultana and Fahima. So Sultana, you want to try this, the next ayah in the Quran? Yes.
Yeah. So in this قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة صفراء فاقع is this thing.
Na'at. So this is our
Na'at. So launuha is outside doer for faqiun. So this ha is again going back to baqratun. So which will be, so this is safra'u is the sifa for this baqratun.
So this is sifa 1. And then of course now you have na'at as-sababi as the sifa 2. So the baqarah, the cow, is being described in 2 ways. The first way is what we have as
Golden,
safra,
yellow.
golden, yellow. And the second way is faqi'un lawnuha. That's the second way it's being described. And of course, this structure adds emphasis to what is being said. Because it could have just said, in a different way, but using the na'at as-sababi here emphasizes the point that is being mentioned about the description of the cow. Is that clear?
Ji, alhamdulillah. sister. Okay.
Okay, great. Let's see who else is here. So we have Fahima, then Fauzia, and then Saima. Go to that in that order.
رأيت رجل الكريم تبعوه. So I see here al-karimu as a ism sifa.
So
And
we'll
the
call it
al-karimu
Na'at. We'll call it Na'at al-Sababi.
Na'at, okay, Na'at, which is matching in status and type with ar-rajula.
Yes.
And this Na'at and tab'uhu, and who goes back to ar-rajula.
Yes.
This is Na'at al-Sababiyya. So al-karim is a Na'at, I mean.
Yes.
So I saw a man. Now I want to actually translate this. I saw a man, semicolon, kind of like the gender is tab'uhu. Tab'uhu, what is tab'uhu?
Nature. His nature.
His generous nature.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I saw a man. He has a generous nature, or he's kind natured. That's another way you can say he's kind natured. Or yeah.
Sister Ilham, I just want to do this one. Now he said in the second one, he said that he says innaham. Now this baqaratun is safara'u. This baqara has two sifas, one na'at sabibiyya and other is golden one. So when you're trying to say this into translate it, there's the yellow cow, semicolon. Its color was faqi'un. It's
I think
faqi'un is what?
I don't know what faqi'un means. I forgot.
This comes like that, right? The yellow cow, the golden cow. Its color.
Yeah, that's basically how I would do it. Of course, probably that's not how the translations would do, because they'll just treat it as a normal sifa. But that's how I would do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Fauzia.
تركت كتابا ممزقا.
ممزق would use اسم فاعل.
ممزقا أولوه في البيت. So كتابا is nasab and ممزقا is nasab, and they're both nakira. So ممزقا would be the na'at sababiyya, and awwalu is another ism, and who is going back to kitaban.
Yes, this is going back to this, and this one is rafa because it's the outside dua of mumazziq. And mumazziq, mazzaqa yumazziqu tamziqan, فهو ممزق, tattered, like torn up. Yeah, or yeah. So I left the book. Its first page was torn up in the house. I left the book in the house. Its first page was torn up. Something like that.
Okay.
All right. Next we have Saina.
جلست في البيت الصالح الصالح. So al-bayti as-salihi, matching in type and status. Al-jarjar. And then asabuhu has a pronoun which is going back to the bayt. And so al-bayt will be ism, as-salihi will be na'at, and asabuhu will be acting as the outside doer of this na'at.
Exactly. That's basically how you do the i'rab of that. Yeah. Okay. Then we go back to Sultana.
مررت بطفل ممزقة ثيابه. So ممزقة is sifa for طفل. Yeah, no, ممزقة. ثيابه is outside door for ممزقة.
Yes.
Okay, so this who zamir is going back to طفل.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then the mumazziqatin, this is what will be referred to as an-na'at al-sababi, because it comes before the sifa. So it's whose clothes or his clothes were worn out or were torn. Yeah. So I met a boy, his clothes were torn. Or I met a
Whose clothes were torn. Whose
Yes.
clothes were torn.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. To make it into an ugly faced man, that kind of structure is a bit difficult. Like a boy, a torn clothed boy. It's a tough one. A torn
Yeah,
clothed
torn
boy.
clothes boy.
A boy who had worn torn clothes, or it should be in somewhere we had.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
Siabu
whose clothes were torn? Whose clothes were torn?
The boy, Tifl,
I met a boy whose clothes were
the
torn.
child. Yes.
The child's clothes. Okay.
is Siabu feminine?
Oh, you're right. Thiyabu is feminine. Yeah, but it matches. Mumazziqatin. So here the gender matches. Thiyab is actually plural. It's a broken plural. Thawb is singular.
Okay.
Thiyab
Okay.
with the plural. Yeah, and
Okay.
that's why it's matching. Good question and good catch. Because I totally forgotten about that. Yes. So if we had said mumazziqin thiyabuhu, it would actually be wrong. It's supposed to be mumazziqatin because it has to match in gender. Okay. Who's next, Fahima?
هذان شابان صالح أبواهما. So this is Ani. This is both matches in the status, and both are nakira. So Salihun is a na'at, and Abawahuma, then Huma goes back to Shabani. They both
Yes.
in
But I
gender.
have a
as
question.
well.
Are they matching in status?
Yeah, Ani. So Shabani,
There we go.
Ani,
Yes.
and Salihu.
Yeah. So don't look at the kasra. I know intensives we did long ago, so we've probably forgotten this Ani. And you look at the kasra, you say, but this one is majroor.
Yeah.
No,
Mama,
this is actually marfu.
Mama.
So they match.
But I'm not aware with the translation. These both men, Shabani is boys, young boys.
Yeah.
So these two young boys, Salihun
Actually, young
Abawahuma,
men,
they're
because it's slightly grown, so young men, like more of
young
a
men.
teenage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Youth, yeah,
youth.
Shababi. So
Yeah.
these two youth, their fathers are righteous.
Yes.
Their righteous fathers.
Yes. And then we have Fauzia.
رأيت الطفلة الجميلة خلقه. So الطفلة is the موصوف, الجميلة is the نعت السببية. They both matching in, they both nasab and they both have al. And خلقه is masculine, and Jamil is also masculine, so they match in gender. And the who is going back to tifl.
Yes. Except you said that a tifl is mawsuf. A tifl here is something that is connected to the mawsuf. Mawsuf is actually khalqu here.
خلقه, okay.
Yeah. Although
So
we just
I
say
saw,
this is the النعت السببي and this is the outside door.
okay.
That would be easier. Yeah. To look
I
like
saw the child whose
So if you read
whose
this as khalq, it will mean
yeah,
like his appearance, like the way he is created. But if you read it as
created.
khulq, it will mean his nature, his character.
Oh, so
So
whose character is beautiful.
yes. So if you read it as with a u, khulq, that is character. Khalq is appearance.
Appearance, okay.
Yeah. It's a very good. There's actually a dua. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you're supposed to make this dua. Allahumma anta hasanta khalqi fa ahsin khuluqi. Oh Allah, you beautified my appearance, therefore beautify my character. So it's like a nice dua.
Yeah.
And then we have, who else do we have here? Saima.
هذا الهديت جميل لونها.
Hadiyya. So this is the present. Hadiyya.
The thing which is above, what is that? That
Sorry,
is la.
this is supposed to be al. I made a mistake there. Okay. Now, of course, it shouldn't have tanween. What happened?
So al-hadiyatu jamilu lawnuha. Al-hadiyatu and jamilu, they are matching in type al-al, and they are matching in letters rafa.
Yes.
Then ahead lawnuha, lawnu masculine, jamilu masculine, and then ha going back to the hadiyatu.
Exactly.
So hadiyatu will be the ism, jamilu will be the naat sababiya, lawnuha will be the outside doer of jamil.
Exactly. That's it. Go on.
Semicolons. Beautiful is its color.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Back to Sultana.
مررت ببيت مكسورة نوافذه. So ببيت مكسورة, this is مكسورة. نوافذه is the outside door for مكسورة.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
مكسورة. So this who zamir, this is going back to baitin.
Exactly.
So I passed by a house whose window was broken.
Yeah. Whose windows were broken.
Were broken.
Yeah. Because nawafif is broken plural.
Jama.
And that's what. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's matching in gender there as well. Okay. Fahima?
Yeah. أولئك رجال أولئك رجال صادقة أزائمهم.
Yes, you're right. Azaim.
So رجال is a ism, صادقة is a ism file. That is not that is not a sabibiyah.
Yes.
And it's also that is outside doer is azaihim, and whom goes back to rijalun.
Exactly.
Those men, their azaihim means
Their ambitions,
proclivation?
their goals, their ambitions.
Their ambitions are clear.
True.
No, true. Sorry,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So they have true ambitions. Like you're praising those guys, you're like, those guys, they have true ambitions.
Oh, okay. Those guys, they have true ambitions.
Last, Fawzia.
سرنا في طريق جميلة أنواره. طريق is the ism, جميلة is the naat السببية, أنواره is the outside file, the who going back to طريق. We walk in the road whose lights are beautiful.
Yes.
Anwar being the 1F,
Yes.
the broken plural, and so Jamilatin is the feminine.
Perfect. Exactly. And that's basically a naat al-sababi. I know it looks difficult, but when you actually do it, you see how easy it comes. Like, it's just that initial resistance, because it challenges everything you know, and it makes it topsy-turvy. Takes this, puts it this way, does this, and it makes you like, you're confused. You're like, no, what is happening? It's challenging you. But then once you get it, you get it. See how you guys are just doing it so perfectly, like, oh, this is the ism, this is the na'at al-sababi, this is the outside doer, the who goes back to this. Perfect. Like, that's a na'at al-sababi, guys. And we're done with the na'at al-sababi. Any other final last-minute questions before we end?
You said there were just 2 examples in the Quran for naat al-sababiyya. Just the first 2.
The first 2. These are the ones I could find. Maybe I don't think there's more, but I'll try and search some more. But these are the ones that I found. And I think they're the only ones.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, cool.
This topic I thought short, but not so easy. But alhamdulillah, these examples I still have, it actually had fit into my brain. This concept. Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair for that.
Yeah, examples, I think they help. So sometimes you have a concept. I was even talking about that in the Quran class we had today. You know, a teacher tells you a concept and you're like, I don't get it. You struggle with it, and then they show you with an example, it starts to get, you get a bit, and then they show you how to do it and how not to do it, and then it becomes very clear. And that's how Allah also talks in the Quran. Like, He gives a concept and then He gives examples. He breaks it down for you, and it sticks. Subhanallah. Allah is the best teacher. Allama al-Quran. He taught us Quran. So we are just learning from the one who knows everything. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I think we can end there. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم. Oh, there's a comment here.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
جزاك الله خير.
وإياكم جزاكم الله.